welcome to HOYtalk, a talk show on YouTube and major podcast platforms. We speak up on Filipino topics that are less commonly talked about and maybe even taboo, while also amplifying Filipino voices in the community. I'm your host, April, and I'd like to acknowledge that this episode is being recorded on Treaty 6 territory, the traditional lands of First Nations and Métis people. On this episode of HOYtalk, we will be speaking about the taboo topic of being queer in the Filipino community and the experiences our special guest has had when he decided to come out to his family and friends. So welcome, Pierro. Pierro has been practicing his craft in hairstyling on his own hair since 2013. After many trials and errors, he went to Del Mar College in 2017. That's when Pierre realized that hair is more than styling, coloring, and cutting. It's how its transformation can positively enhance someone's confidence. With his recognition for student success, creativity, and passion, Pierro was invited to style for Numa Model Agency and Patty Falcon Model Agency. Pierro's passion for precision cutting, coloring, and styling has become a reflection of his work on his clients. When he's not nerding out on hair, you can find him playing indoor and beach volleyball, traveling with friends, or enjoying his time at ice cream shops. So Pierro, what's your favorite ice cream spot to go to lately?
Currently, it's yellowed ice cream. Really like the ube flavor right now.
We just missed each other yesterday.
Yeah. What did you guys have?
I always get the affogato.
Oh,
Because I need a pick me up. So I had the ube, the soft serve with the affogato, but I usually get it with Rocky Road.
That's a good
which
choice.
is so good.
I tried the queso ube yesterday.
What's that?
It's
the queso. Okay,
queso,
yeah.
yeah.
Queso ube. Oh, was it good? Was it their like hard ice cream or the soft serve one?
It was a hard ice cream, but it just brought me back to when we were kids in the Philippines.
Yeah.
The dirty ice cream.
Yeah. I also tried the dalandan because you can try samples and it was so good. Like I wasn't expecting it to be that good. And then I thought, what should I get? But I don't think, I don't know, coffee and orange I don't like.
That's fair.
I didn't go for that. And so one of my other questions, and it's like not related to the topic today, but what is your least, favorite Filipino food?
Oh, sometimes I enjoy it, but it has to be a good mood, but dinuguan.
I was thinking the same. I don't know. Yeah. Like my mom makes it so good, so I'll taste it, but it's not like I like a bunch of it, you know?
For me, I like having puto and dipping it in it.
Yeah.
Or
so traditional, Pierro.
Yeah. Yeah.
So our topic today, it's something that's like very personal to everyone. But for you, like when did you know that you were, and like what's politically correct? I've been asking you this over like personal text messages. Like, do I say like when did you know you were like part of the queer community, or like is like gay the proper word? Like what is proper to say?
This was something that I had to learn for a long time too, because for the first time coming out, or for the first few years, I wasn't comfortable saying that I was gay. I always said that I don't like girls, I like guys. And it took me a long time to get comfortable with my skin and comfortable enough to say that I'm gay. And I learned, or not learned, but I realized that during high school, like when I took notice more than just girls and found guys in my class attractive. And I wasn't sure what that was, but it was almost like I had to really hide it because it wasn't accepted at all. And if you were gay or anything but straight, that's when I realized it wasn't okay. So that's when I started to wear a mask and started dating girls. But then I knew deep down that I wasn't straight at all.
So like for you dating girls, like were you uncomfortable when,
Yeah. No, I wasn't uncomfortable. I think that stage in my life was very experimental.
Mm,
So I was more open-minded to dating girls and I wasn't grossed out by it.
mm-hmm,
I just knew deep down that like I had to try it.
mm-hmm.
One, because I wasn't sure what I like, what kind of person I liked, and two, because I was hiding. I was deep in the closet and I was very scared to like kind of show the real person that I was. Yeah.
And so you just realized this in high school when kind of like our hormones go crazy, or did you like know since you were little?
Looking back, I think I knew since I was little. Um, I was being teased always by literally everyone. Like if I'm gay or like if I like girls, if I like boys, and the fear in me kept saying I like girls.
Mm,
And I knew, like, I remember in Philippines, I was so young. I took like a little baby cloth, put it on my head, and I pretended that it was long hair, and I would just like strut back and forth while my parents weren't watching. And I would
yeah.
listen to Spice Girls, and like my sisters don't even know this, but I would take their cassette tapes and I would play Spice Girls all over, like back to back, and just listening to all those songs. And but I didn't know what being gay was. I didn't know what being a boy and a girl was. I thought there was just more to liking the opposite sex.
Hmm. But how interesting is that that you knew that Spice Girls and wanting long hair and like strutting around, listening to Spice Girls was like something that wouldn't be accepted. And then once people were in the same room, you're like, hey, turn that all off, take this off. And like, that's just so interesting to me that
Yeah.
even at that young of an age, you knew like what was, I guess, like what was assigned as proper behavior for being a male versus a female.
Yeah. It was it was scary for me
Mm,
because I knew from like the elders, like my parents, it was always okay to be gay as long as you're not that gay child, as long as it's not a part of the family. It's
mm,
okay to see gay people except for in this family.
mhm.
And so I think that was the fear that was instilled in me. And for a really long time, probably most of my childhood, I thought of that. Yeah.
Interesting. We had an episode with Chef Briones previously, and he was talking about how he found it interesting that like the Philippines seems to be open with like the queer community and gays because they're so like I guess idolized. Even like you could see like
Mhm.
Vice Ganda is performing tonight.
Yeah.
Vice Ganda is like sold out, and there's this whole community, but then if it's your family member, why is it so challenging to accept it, right?
Yeah. Just to like add to that, that's exact like societal pressure that we have, especially in my family too. Not that it was intended, but it's kind of what was taught, you know? Like being homophobic is also something that you're not born with. You're born to see everyone equally. And so that was definitely taught in the family by everyone else around us, by our community,
Mhm,
which is very interesting because yeah, we idolize Vice Ganda. Like I love Vice, but
mhm,
then why is it only okay if it's a celebrity or outside
mhm.
community or family?
But yeah, like they idolize these people, and it's just so interesting then when it comes to your family. It's like, oh no, no, now that's taboo. Yeah, but we watch them every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Exactly.
you're paying to go see their concert. And
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
so interesting.
That's exactly it.
Do you identify as a male or like female or non-binary?
I identify as male. I always, now that it's more accepted and now that it's more inclusive in our community or even in our city, I thought about it actually. I'm like, okay, let's reflect on how I see myself. Like, do I see myself as a woman, a man, neither or both? And I think for me, I would see myself as just male, cisgender male. Yeah.
So you're a male who likes other males.
Mm-hmm.
And you've decided that. Like some people are like, oh, like if I meet a person that I love and she's female, then I would be with that person. But you for sure.
Yeah. I don't have any kind of attraction to women. Like I see like physical attraction, I can say that a woman's attractive.
Mhm.
But anything beyond that, it's more towards men.
Mm.
And I tried. I dated a girl for 3 years and it was what it was. Like I love her. Like I fell in love with her, but
Mhm.
like in my heart, I knew that it was not going to work out because it was something that like my real Pierro was hiding
Mhm.
from a girl,
Mhm.
behind a girl, just satisfy everyone. And I couldn't live that life.
Mhm. And so for those 3 years, was it challenging for you to be like falling in love with someone as a person, but knowing that like it wouldn't last in the end?
I think the first year and a half was all the honeymoon phase of loving each other.
Mhm.
And we went through all the good and the bad with each other. And then the last year was, I think, we just dated for the sake of being together,
Mm.
because that's all we knew.
Mhm.
And near the end of it, we both knew that it was not going to work out. And she had her reasons, and I had my big reason.
Mhm.
And it was more mutual. And it was really good. I think it was probably one of the most mature breakups I've had as a young adult.
Yeah. And
But
are you still friends with her?
we have each other on social media. We see each
Mhm.
other's lives, but we don't really connect with each other anymore.
And
Yeah.
so when you decided that your big secret couldn't be like a secret anymore, um, who did you tell first?
I told one of my high school friends, Sean, and I actually forgot about this. He was the very first person that I came out to, but it was just like kind of brushed under the rug because his reaction was just like, hey, you love who you love, you like who you like, and I'm still your friend. And after that, we both forgot about it. It was him letting me live my life, and that's all I could really ask for is
Mhm.
that same love regardless of who I am and who I like.
Mhm.
And then yeah, it started from there after high
Mhm.
school.
Did that surprise you?
Yes, because everything was scary. Every time I came out, it was scary.
Mm.
And that was he was the very first person that I told saying, I think I'm gay. And yeah, it was a shocking um reaction
Mm.
only because I didn't know how he would react. I thought I would lose a friend.
Mm. And is he still a friend now?
No, we just grew apart from each other.
Mm.
And high school, it's
Oh yeah.
either you become or you stay best friends or you just go apart from each other. And
Mhm.
yeah, no hard feelings or anything.
Mm. And
Yeah.
so when it was time to tell your family, how did you do it?
Oh man, everything was in a very vulnerable state.
Mm.
And I told my sister Kathy first
Mhm.
because I was seeing someone and I didn't know who to talk to about it. And I started to have feelings for this guy, and I felt like crying, but I was also happy, and my body was just shaking. I was vibrating with feelings, and that's when I texted Kathy to tell you. She was like, "Are you okay? What's going on? Like, what happened?" Like, everything's fine. I think I just want to share my feelings with you. This was probably one of the first times I was vulnerable with my sisters, and she was one of the firsts. And I told her, ever since dating my ex-girlfriend, I started seeing other people, but it's not girls. And her reaction was just like, "Well, are you happy?"
Aww.
And like, "I think I am. This person makes me happy. This person's making me feel things." And she was like, "Well, what do you want to do about it?" She instantly went towards the route of solution. And it's very common for our family not to really talk about our feelings. So the way that we console each other is, okay, what are we going to do to make you feel better? And that was the first one with my sister. And the second time, well, with my sister Candy, I was seeing someone new. This was probably 2 years after. And I had gone to Chicago to meet someone, and it was like a weekend getaway. No one really knew about it. I just said, "I'm gonna go with a friend." No one asked, so I didn't say anything. And...
Sorry, kinikilig ako ah.
Oh man, no one really knows the story. It's so funny. But yeah, I went to Chicago with him. We went to see a musical. We went drinking. Like, it was a full-on weekend date. Yeah, long story short, it was very romantic. And then when I got home, I was also in my feels. I was feeling hard, and I didn't know who to turn to. I know I could turn to my sister Kathy, but I needed a different kind of support, and I knew my sister Candy had that. And I remember messaging my sister, because she was my boss back then, so I was just like, she was a cubicle next to me, and I was like, "Can we go for lunch one day? Let's go to like Moxie's, I'll buy you steak." And I knew then that was her favorite thing. I'm like, okay, this is the way to her heart, so I can tell her how my heart is feeling. And so after we ate, she was like, "So like, what's going on?" She asked me suspicious questions, and I finally fessed up, and I said, "Okay, this is not just a lunch date. I wanted to tell you something about me." And same thing I told Kathy, I'm dating someone, but it's not a girl. And then I remember just seeing that smile on her face saying, "Whoa, how do you feel?"
Yeah.
And I was pretty anxious before telling her, but as soon as I saw that smile, I knew that I had that support, and it was undying. It was a forever kind of support, no matter what kind of support it was. I knew she had my back, and again, she asked, "Okay, like, what are we gonna do about it? Let's talk about how you're feeling." And that's when my confidence and got bigger. Yeah, it was kind of like it trickled down to more people, like my mom and my dad. And coming out to my parents was the complete opposite of how I felt when I came out to my sisters, only because I live with my parents. My parents were pretty religious, and you know the religion that Filipinos follow or preach to, and it was scary. I called my mom crying during lunchtime, and I just knew that I had to tell her because my gut was telling me something that she deserved to know at that moment. And she was like, "Are you okay? What happened?" All those questions again, making sure that I'm okay. I'm like, "Yes, I'm okay. Nothing happened. I just want to share something to you about me." And she's like, "Okay, get home after work and we can talk." And so I was shaking on my way home. I took my time. I'm like, I'm not going over 110 on the highway. And as soon as I parked on our driveway, I just prepared myself. I'm like, okay, whatever happens, happens. I have my sisters, I have my friends, and this is it. Like, I'm prepared to move out if I have to. And all the negative things that could possibly happen was running through my mind. And I just had to do it. I had to pull the trigger. And I sat my mom down and instantly I started crying. And I remember her asking, "Are you okay?" She helped, like, "Okay, mom." When I told her the Chicago story, and I told her that it was with a guy. And I kept it silent. I waited for her to respond to me. And she was like, "Well, this is not what your dad and I wanted." I'm like, "Okay." That's the reaction I'll get, and I'll take it. And at first she cried and said that, like, I thought you got someone pregnant. I'm like, okay, complete opposite,
Wow.
but still kind of the same disappointment.
Yeah.
And it hurt me, but at the end of that conversation, I felt free. And so, yeah, that was probably one of the heavier coming out memories that I have. And then when I came out to my dad, complete opposite of what my mom said to me. And
Really?
yes, I made sure that my dad was the last person because I had very little relationship with him or any connection with him. He just provided for me like any father would, but as a father-son relationship, I barely had it. And so I was scared that he would just disown me, kick me out, and just drop any connection with me. And same thing after work, I asked Candy to come with me to sit down. And I almost left the house before I even walked in. Like I stepped foot and I'm like, that was the first time I had feet. And my savior was my sister. She was like, "Pierro, get in here." And I really thank her for being there for me, because if she wasn't, I probably wouldn't have come out to my dad then. But good thing I did. And when I did, same kind of story. I like guys, not girls. Still afraid to say I'm gay.
Yeah.
But my dad I remember vividly, he sat across from me and he said, "Whoever you love is the same person that we'll love. We'll love you regardless. And as long as you're happy, we're happy." And I tried to hold in my tears only because I wanted to show like some dominance and some manhood. And he just kept saying, "We still love you for who you are." And that was a very heavy but very light moment at the same time, because now at that point I was out to my whole family. I didn't have to lie, I didn't have to pretend, and I could just be myself. And it was the biggest sigh of relief and a big weight off my shoulders.
So from that experience, Piero, with your dad, did it make you feel closer, or has it been kind of the same after?
For the first maybe 5 years, no. It took a while for my parents to process everything. ever since I came out. But my dad, he's not a very emotional person. He doesn't like to express any of his feelings. It was about the same. The way that he treated me before it came out was the same after.
Mhm.
And I wasn't looking for any special kind of treatment. I was looking more for acceptance.
Mhm.
And I realized then that they weren't going to accept me right away. And that was the big roller coaster experience that I had.
Did you, like, after coming out to your friends and family, like, did you lose any friends or feel like you lost some connection maybe with your mom or?
I lost connection with my parents. That was a time when I came out to my parents. It was when I started dating my long-term partner, ex-partner, Chris. And when they saw more of how my relationship grew with him, they were very uncomfortable with it
Mhm.
because they never experienced that with anyone. They experienced it outside of our family, but firsthand, being their child and being their son, only son, it was not a comfortable sight to see. And that's when my relationship with my parents went down.
And what about friends, or had they all been
And
pretty accepting?
everyone's been really supportive, even when I told my ex-girlfriend. Um, she was really happy. Everyone was really happy for me. And
Mhm.
anyone that comes out is very scared to lose their friends. But the friends that I had then and the friends that I have till now, full on support and love. And I didn't really lose anyone. It was more like, all right, you can
Yeah.
finally be free. You can do whatever you
Yeah.
want. You can love who you want without without hiding it from us. Because we want to be there when you're with someone. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
And so with your connection to your parents being kind of muddled by, your revelation, um your support system, like, that must have been really challenging to get that from your parents, but, like, so your support system became your friends.
Yeah. My friends became my family. And
And your sisters, of course.
yes, yeah. I had different kinds of support anywhere I looked, anywhere I turned. And I knew that I couldn't turn to my parents at the time. And that was okay with me. For sure, it was hurting me a lot. People
Mhm.
could tell, I could tell, but I couldn't control it. I couldn't control how my parents would treat me. I can't control how they would feel about it, but I could control myself from separating myself from that kind of essentially negativity because it was only bringing me down. It was discouraging me, and it was not the support that I needed and wanted. And so I turned to my friends. I turned to my sister sometimes,
Mhm.
but that's also when I turned to videos of
Mhm.
people loving who they wanted to love, people coming out. And
Mhm.
I didn't feel alone
Yeah.
when I did any of that soul searching and support searching.
I know you already kind of touched on it, but was there a moment or, like, a specific incident that made you decide, like, that whole domino effect of, like, coming out to your sisters and then your parents, like, it was because you started to catch feelings for the partner that you had at the time?
I think I was realizing what that feeling felt like, and I wanted to share and express it to other people too, because when they share their feelings with me, it feels good. But
Mhm.
when I had those same feelings, I didn't know who to turn to. And so I had no choice but to really share the real me to them. That's when it got easier because it, I guess I've always been that type of person who goes 100 with anything and anyone. And I don't like pretending that like I like someone, or I don't like pretending that I don't like someone. And so when I'm 100% feeling like I am infatuated by someone, I want to tell them about everything. Like I want to tell them that it's a guy, not a girl. And I don't want to lie about that, because that was the best time for me to be real with myself and everyone around me. It was just like a big lesson that I needed to experience, and not everyone is taught either, because I wasn't raised to really share my feelings. I was taught to not go through any emotions, because any emotions is a sign of weakness.
Do you find that that's like a very Filipino thing? We're taught a lot to kind of like use humor to
Yeah,
you
100%. It's up until now, really. My friend group is mostly Filipino, and no matter what kind of chaos happens in our lives, it's always turned into a joke. It's always funny to us. And I think it's a part of our culture to turn to laughter. Not a really good coping mechanism, but I think it makes us a little happier, you know? It changes our perception in whatever situation we're in. And for that, like I think it's a blessing that we have that too, that we embraced having a smile or sharing laughter with people, with our community.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I was thinking about that recently. It's like I realized that there could be a lot more dark days if we didn't have like such a, I guess, like, how do I put it? You know, when you go to a party or we really like to get together, and
Yeah.
some people don't have that. Like some people cultures don't have that camaraderie, and like here's me like there's a party every other weekend, or there's a
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
together, with, and you get to kind of like, if we have these troubles, I find that it's easier to pull through because we have
Yeah.
that support, and that even though humor isn't always the healthiest, there's a time for it
Yeah.
to help
Totally.
us. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel
And
that. I had dinner last night with my friends. Most of them are Filipino, and they're my second family. And we weren't really going through it at all, but being together was just like the happiness and the joy was just, it uplifted us. You can see it in everyone's faces. Everyone was smiling, and maybe we've had a long week, but being in that one table, it's just like, huh, okay, I can breathe. Like we're here, and it's just, it's something so exciting to feel, because when you're at home, sometimes it's just like autopilot. You do your thing, you clean, you eat, and then go to bed. And so having someone or a group of people to kind of break that routine, especially like a Filipino group that does karaoke almost every weekend, it's like, okay, it's like a release of stress, and people absorb it and we release it together. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing that we have.
I feel like that's what I call soul food because for
Yeah.
me, right?
Yeah.
Because to me, I'm hectic. Like I am busy. And as you know, like on our text messages, I'm texting you at like like half past midnight,
Yeah.
just trying to get things done, so busy, wife, daughter, kids, whatever.
You're a
But I
mom.
do, yeah, momming. But I feel like what you described to me is something that's so needed, and it is just to have of people, or even like, we, for me anyway, I have different groups of friends, and you take from those groups what you need, I
Yeah.
guess, for
Yeah.
you, for your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I have different groups of friends too, and there's always a unique bond with every kind of group, and it's very much a give and take kind of relationship. And I totally get what you're saying with that time and that bond that you have with them when you're with them, and then when you go home, it's like, okay, time to get real and do your own thing again, be an adult, be a parent, you know?
Yes. But then you feel so refreshed that, oh yeah,
Yeah,
like either like, oh, I still, I can still do that and
yeah,
I'm still my own person or whatever, but then you come back refreshed and like, okay, I can take this on now,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
So was there a difference like between life before, like when you were deep in the closet, um, and then after coming out, like personally, and I want to tell you this, it's like I think after everyone knew, and then you know, I found out, I was just like so in awe of it because I found like before you had really found yourself and set yourself free in a way that you told your family and your friends. It felt like you were so authentic. Like after that, it felt like you were like authentic living your life and you were more outgoing and like yeah, I just noticed that even when like I would see you. So
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, not a lot of people tell me that often, but I guess before I came out, I was kind of following the unspoken rule of being a man, like having a job, full-time job, benefits, having a girl in your life, long term, maybe getting married, having kids, and that whole expectation that shouldn't be an expectation. And maybe an influence too, because I have two sisters with husbands and kids, and my parents, they're more, they're of the heterosexual community and they've had kids, they have full-time jobs. And so I think that was very pressured for like a big pressure for me. And I knew that that wasn't for me. And so I think I was just trying to be very straight acting because that version of straight was the only version that I knew. And so I guess, yeah, you're right. I wasn't really living authentically. But then when I came out, I found myself in how I express myself with clothes, like physically, emotionally, and maybe mentally too. And that wasn't taught to me. I had to really learn how to express myself in a way that doesn't hurt people, but also at the same time, I had to express myself that really brings out the real me. And yeah, I was really still searching for acceptance because I didn't know my people at the time. I just had support. Like I didn't know who really had my back. I didn't really know who supported me, but I just knew that as soon as I came out, I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like I'm out. I'm free. Like what else? What are you gonna do about it? You know? And every year or every time I got more confident, I no one else really mattered. Like no one else's opinions mattered. And I think yeah, like that's what brought me here because I feel like I'm still even learning now, but I'm glad that I can be that person that I am now.
how did you do that for yourself? Because like I said, it's so challenging to come on and talk on a platform like this. And we are so grateful that you're comfortable in doing that. So like, were there any people or like you said, videos or anywhere that you turned to because you said you were free and you had support, but you still didn't know how to act. And what did you mean by how to act without hurting anyone? What does that mean?
Um, I guess that comes from a place of insecurity, only because I didn't know who was comfortable with me being gay or just I didn't know how people would react. I was still very conscious of how people would react around me or how they would treat me. And that was all in the journey of who I am now. Like I was very insecure still by myself and in a relationship. A lot of, I forget, I think Mark E. Miller on YouTube, he was one of the first gay vloggers that I followed because he was out in high school and I was like, whoa, that would be nice. That would have been nice if I could experience that in high school, but I didn't. And so I just followed him in his journey of being gay and being with his partner. And after that, I'm like, huh, okay, what if I could have that? I really wish that for myself. And so that's why I'm like, okay, guys, this is who I am. Like, I want this for myself. Like, I don't want to just find love, but I want to find freedom for myself. I want to find love for myself. And so that video or his videos really helped me because it, on that suggestion box on the side, that's when everyone was like, coming out story. I came out to my parents. I came out in like a flash mob and I was like, huh, I remember crying in the office, like in my little cubicle. I'm like, oh my God, this could be me. Like, I just got to tell people. And that would be it. Like, that would be the start of my new journey and end of my like life now, you know, like it'll be end of something and the start of something new. And so after that, I started seeing Bretman Rock on YouTube. Bretman Rock really has a space in my heart because I don't think he even came out. He was just who he was, especially to his parents or to his mom and his sisters. And his confidence and his humor was just what helped me stay happy. And like I turned to all those videos and really like him being so flamboyant was like, huh, okay, like there's nothing wrong with being flamboyant at all. Like who says that there is? And maybe I was able to express that in my clothes a little more or the way that I acted and carried myself. And so yeah, Bretman, like he was one of my heroes for sure.
I also follow him and I think he's just fantastic.
He's great.
Fantastic. He's great.
Yeah.
I the ones that like kind of make me laugh now is, did you see when he like dunks himself into cold water?
Yeah. Oh my God. I die every time.
It's
He's
so
just
funny, his face,
he's
everything.
a full-on energy, and that's what I want around me all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, and so you touched on like both your sisters, married, kids. I guess something that you want for yourself in the future, having kids with somebody? And how would
Yeah.
that work?
I mean, I think about it a lot. Um, for sure not a pressure for me at all. I know my family pressures me a lot, and it's it sometimes gives me anxiety only because one, it's not easy for a gay person to just have kids. Like, yes, there's many options. Surrogacy, not easy, but available. Adopting, available, and it's not easy at all. Like, it can take years. And even if I'm single or married, they really dig deep to make sure that you're fit as a parent. That's what's discouraging because any straight couple will have better access to it. It's hard because they're like, oh yeah, you can just easily adopt. You can easily get a surrogate. You can easily do this. I'm like, no, there's more to it because I'm gay. And that's the only pressure for me because it's not as easy. But I would love to. I would love to have a child or two and create a family. And I think it'd be beautiful. But right now, I'm not there. Like, I'm not in the place to be a parent. And that's all I can really say about that. I hope to be a parent one day, though. I think that would be beautiful.
I'm still not there and I have two kids.
I can only imagine.
Just kidding, but also not kidding. Yeah,
I love
it's work,
them.
but you gotta love them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
So I guess I mean, our platform is really to show youth and I mean other people in the Filipino community like different things that everyone in our community is going through, whatever it may be. Do
Yeah.
you know, were there any like local organizations or anywhere that you kind of turn to besides, finding videos to inspire you or, having that support? Like maybe some people don't have that support.
Yeah.
And is there anywhere you know of that they could like turn to or a helpline or something that they can?
Yeah. When I came out, or before I even came out, there wasn't that many. And I turned to gay clubs. It wasn't underground, but underground for me because I really had to fake my way through it. I'm like, okay, let's go to the gay club, let's experience that vibe. And that's when I kind of gained more confidence. Social media wasn't really big back then. I know YouTube was, and so I turned to that. But nowadays, there's more on social media. Like, social media is so powerful when it comes to inclusivity in the LGBT community. There's more like TikTok. You can express yourself freely, and people turn to that. People are always on their phones, and so I think electronic or like social media wise, I know for the city, I have Queer of Edmonton added on Instagram. They showcase a lot of awareness with the community, especially for people of color. And recently, during the whole pandemic, with a lot of like the Asian hate, all the movements and all the things about people of color, I noticed Asian mental health on Instagram. I can't remember their page, but I looked there and it showed a lot of support and just things that you can really find guide for. It doesn't matter if you need like help coming out or if you need help being out. But yeah, I think that's kind of where I go. But it's such an uplifting thing when you see a rainbow flag in a window and when you see queer people working. It's a community now. And I think physically you just need to put yourself out there and look for those places that are really welcoming. Like Packed Coffee is really good. I know a lot of queer people that work there, Remedy especially, Next Act. I'm really giving you like good places to eat too. So, but yeah, that whole block and that whole street is just full of queer people. Like we love the gays, we love, and as long as you're there, like you will see people, you will meet people. But if you are not as much of an extrovert, you can resort to Queer Edmonton. There's a lot of resources on that page that you can turn to. And yeah, I think it'll be very helpful for anyone that's seeking help or seeking support.
So to conclude our chat today, I just want to ask, is there something that you would advise for maybe a young gentleman who wants to come out and is afraid to?
Um, Take your time. I would say feel every feeling because every feeling matters. It doesn't matter if it's a bad one or a good one or in between. Hold on to your support. As long as you have a good support system, as long as you have your people, I think you'll be okay. And go through it. Don't suppress it. Don't hide it. Don't ignore it. I would say just go through that journey because when you look back at it, it's going to be a story that only you can tell. And when you look back at it, you're going to see yourself at your present time and say, holy, I did that. That was me, you know? And that's all. Just be yourself, really. And it'll be okay. Because I'm okay now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a shout out to your salon? Because your hair looks fabulous.
Oh yeah, shout out to Carol. She's been my mentor since 2018 and still my mentor now. And yeah, she's the one that gave me these beautiful curls, helping me maintain it. So yeah, love her.
Awesome. Well, it looks good. So also for our listeners, viewers, if you want to go check out Soho Master Hairstylist, go visit Pierro there. He's obviously excellent at his job. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pierro, for joining us. And for everyone watching, like there's so many golden nuggets in this video. Like finding your support seems to be like one of the biggest things that's been driven home here. Really grateful that we got to share your journey today, Pierro, because you're right, it's different for everyone, but when we start to talk about it and it becomes something that people can have access to, then it gives them more confidence. Like you said, watching social media, even that Mike E. Miller or Bretman Rock and all the people that you ended up looking up to, like social media is such a powerful tool for us now. And so to have this platform, to have you here today, we're just so grateful. So I hope that everyone enjoyed today's episode. And if so, drop us a like, subscribe, or follow our socials and share the episode. We're also building up to future topics in Atabo. So if you make a suggestion, suggest a topic and we'll put it in our tabo, and if it's drawn, your topic will be become a future episode, maybe. So yeah, taboo topics, I guess. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope we gave you enough insight so that next time you can talk about it. Thanks, Pierro. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.